Psychosocial theories are foundational frameworks that illuminate the intricate interplay between an individual's psychological processes and their social environment. This series explores how thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and identity development are shaped by the dynamic relationship between internal cognitive factors and external social influences. Psychosocial theories are theoretical frameworks that seek to explain human behavior, development, and psychological well-being by considering the interaction.
Psychosexual. Psychosexual development is a theory proposed by Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis. According to Freud, human beings go through distinct stages of development during childhood, each characterized by the focus on different erogenous zones. These stages are known as psychosexual stage and play a crucial role in shaping an individual's personality. The first stage is the oral stage, which occurs from birth to around 18 months. During this period, pleasure is derived from activities such as sucking and biting. If this stage is not successfully resolved, it can lead to oral fixation later in life, resulting in behaviors like nail biting or smoking. The second stage is the anal stage, which takes place between 18 months and 3 years of age. Here, children experience pleasure from controlling their bowel movements. If parents are too strict or lenient during toilet training, it can result in anal retentive or anal explosive personalities respectively. Next comes from the phallic stage that occur between 3 and 6 years old. This is when children develop unconscious sexual desires from the opposite sex parents and rivalry with their same-sex parents, known as the Oedipus complex for boys and Electra complex for girls. Failure to resolve these conflicts can lead to difficulties forming healthy relationships later in life. Following the poly stage is the latency period from 6 years old until puberty, when sexual feelings are repressed due to socialization pressures. Finally, there is the genital stage that begins at puberty and lasts throughout adulthood. During this phase, individuals develop mature sexual interests and seek out intimate relationships.
Erik Erikson proposed the psychosocial theory of development. In each stage of Erikson's theory, there is a psychosocial task that we must master in order to feel a sense of competence. Erik Erikson, in 1902 to 1994, another stage theorist, took Freud's theory and modified it as psychosocial theory. Erikson's psychosocial development theory emphasizes the social nature of our development rather than its sexual nature, while Freud believed that personality is shaped only in childhood. Erikson proposed that personality development takes place all through the lifespan. Erikson suggested that how we interact with others is what affects our sense of self, or what he called the ego identity. According to Erikson in 1963, trust is the basis of our development during infancy, birth to 12 months. As toddlers, ages 1 to 3 years, begin to explore their world. They learn that they can control their actions and act on the environment to get results. Once children reach the preschool stages, ages 3 to 6 years, they are capable of initiating activities and asserting control over their world through social interactions and play. During the elementary school stage, ages 6 to 12, children face the task of industry versus inferiority. Children begin to compare themselves to their peers to see how they measure up. In adolescence, ages 12 to 18, children face the task of identity versus role confusion. People early adulthood, 20s through early 40s, are concerned with intimacy versus isolation. After we have developed a sense of self in adolescence, we are ready to share our life with others. When people reach their 40s, they enter the time known as middle adulthood. which extends to the mid-60s. The social task of middle adulthood is generativity versus stagnation. From the mid-60s as the end of life, we are in the period of development known as late adulthood. Erikson's task at this stage is called integrity versus despair.
Characteristic of psychological approach to human behavior involves the relation between intrapersonal, psychological, and environmental aspects. Psychological characteristics is commonly described as an individual's psychological development in relation to his/her social and cultural development. Characteristics of psychological include social support, loneliness, marriage status, social disruption, bereavement, work environment, social status, and social integration. Examples of psychological needs. These needs include recognition and management of depression, anxiety, fear, developmental problems, disability, pain, and limitation in daily living. These factors all contribute to patients' psychological well-being.
Sigmund Freud proposed that personality development in childhood takes place during 5 psychosexual sexual stages, which are the oral, 0 to 8 months, anal, 18 to 3 years, phallic, 3 to 6, latency, 6 to 11, and genital stages, 11 onwards. During each stage, sexual energy or libido expressed in different ways and through different body parts. These are called psychosexual stages because each stage represents a fixation of libido, roughly translated a sexual drives or instincts in a different area of the body. As a person grows physically, certain areas of the body became important as sources of potential frustration, or the erogenous zone, or pleasure, or both. Freud believed that life was built around tension and pleasure. Freud also believed that all tension was due to the buildup of libido, or the sexual energy, and that all pleasure came from its discharge. In describing human personality development as psychosexual, Freud meant to convey that what develops is a way in which sexual energy of the id accumulates and its discharge as we mature biologically. So, Freud used the term sexual in a very general way to mean all pleasurable actions and thoughts. Freud stressed that the first 5 years of life are crucial to the formation of adult personality. The id must be controlled to satisfy social demands. These setups conflict between frustrated wishes and social norms. The ego and superego develop in order to exercise this control and direct the need for gratification into socially acceptable channels. So gratification centers in different areas of the body at different stages of growth, making the conflict of each stage psychosexual.
Psychosocial development, a concept introduced by psychologist Erik Erikson, refers to the combination of psychological and social factors that influence individuals as they go through various stages of life. It considers the integration of one's psychological development with a social context. Erikson proposed a series of stages where each stage represents a conflict that must be resolved for healthy development. Whereas psychosexual development, proposed by Sigmund Freud, focuses on the progression of one's sexual interests and experiences as a primary motivating force that shapes personality development. Freud proposed a series of stages where each stage is centered in specific erogenous zones and psychological conflicts related to sexual desires and urges. The resolution of these conflicts is believed to influence personality and behavior later in life.